If I had to name the biggest mistake I typically see students make with their practice tests, it's not including an experimental section along with the other four. Of course, the published prep tests that you get in your books are going to be only 4 sections. That's because LSAC doesn't give you the experimental section. They're saving that for a future exam. So students often just make the mistake of doing only those 4 sections in the book. But you've got to simulate the experimental section because it will affect your endurance in a major way. When I do a full-length 5-section timed exam, even my brain is completely fried afterwards. And so if you're only doing 4 for your practice, then you do 5 on test day, you're going to be in for a rude awakening and your test scores are going to suffer as a result. This is one of the reasons that students sometimes experience a test day drop where their score on the official LSAT is lower than it would have been on their timed practice LSATs up to that point. So what you can do to simulate for this is you take a full-length timed exam. Let's say that you're doing exam 85. You can take exam number 81, divide that into 4 parts, and then take each one of those parts and insert it into exams 82, 83, 84, and 85. And then later, you can take your results from exam 81 and tally them separately so you could see what your results might have been on that had you taken it as an individual full-length timed exam. So that's one of the biggest mistakes students make, not including an experimental section in their full-length timed exams, simulating the 5-section experience. Some students even like to do 6 sections occasionally. They'll do 3 sections, take a break, then do 3 more. I've heard some crazy people talk about doing 4 sections, break 4. I think that's overkill. I wouldn't recommend it, but doing 5 sections is definitely something you want to do. You don't want to make the mistake of doing only 4. Another mistake students often make is not strictly timing themselves. If you're taking a break to go to the bathroom or get a drink of water or talk to someone or check your phone, that's all got to be on the clock, and you really shouldn't be doing any of that at all on the test. 35 minutes is not a lot of time. You want to make the most of it, so any snacks or water breaks, get that all before you sit down and start your exam. Your phone should ideally be on airplane mode or at least silent, and you should arrange with anyone else you live with or anyone else in your environment that they won't interrupt you while you're sitting down and doing this full experience. No distractions, no interruptions. Try to stay focused on the exam itself. And related to that, distractions will come up, and you don't want to make the mistake of practicing in only sterile, quiet environments. You should take at least a few exams in a library or a coffee shop to simulate what it's like when there's some ambient noise around you and some motion in your peripheral vision that might get in the way of your focus. So you want to practice being in these difficult or uncomfortable situations so that you can remain focused on the exam despite other things that might come up. On test day, other test takers might be annoying. They might call over the proctor. They might be blowing their nose. They might be erasing vigorously. You might have the proctors circling around, maybe even looking over your shoulder sometimes. And that can be really annoying. And obviously you don't want that to happen, but it might, and you can't really control it. So practice in some mildly distracting environments. There are a lot of great apps and YouTube videos that simulate test day. They'll time you, and they might even include some mild distractions, but there's nothing like getting out there and experiencing it for real. So definitely try to get out there and do that for at least a couple of practice tests before you take the real thing. So that's all for now. Feel free to reach out if you need anything at all, of course. I'm here for you, and I'd love to help in any way that I can. So all the best as you prep for the LSAT, and take care.